They put bags on us, dragged us somewhere, then removed the bag, said, listen, that's it, you ran into our ambush, you are spies, so you will be killed.
There was nothing little about them, very well armed, very silent, and obviously no insignia.
It was November 2013 when Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych turned his back on a potential trade deal with the EU under pressure from Russia. This angered pro-European Ukrainians and sparked the Maidan Street protests in Kiev, in which around 100 people died. After 3 months, President Yanukovych fled Ukraine on the 22nd of February 2014.
After Maidan won in Kiev, we knew that the tensions would flare up in pro-Russian areas of Ukraine, and Crimea was obviously the most pro-Russian at the time.
On the 27th of February, armed men raised a Russian flag above the Crimean parliament in Simferopol. The next day, Crimea's international airports were also seized by little green men.
There was nothing little about them. Very well armed, very silent, and obviously no insignia. We were told to watch the boots because the story goes that in the Russian elite forces they buy their own boots because they're more comfortable than the regular army issue ones. And those soldiers, they had really good footwear.
On the 4th of March, Vladimir Putin officially denied Russian involvement, claiming the armed men were local self-defense forces.
We were near the Bilbek air base waiting for something to happen because there was a standoff between Russian and Ukrainian military men. And quite quickly I ran into an ambush. So, just out of nowhere, a guy in Russian military uniform sort of appeared just from under the ground, pointed his Kalashnikov at me. They put bags on us, dragged us somewhere, then removed the bag, said, listen, that's it, you ran into our ambush, you are spies, so you will be killed. But eventually we somehow managed to negotiate our way out. That conversation actually helped me to understand that these were really Russian professional soldiers, this was Russian Spetsnaz.
We went to one of the Ukrainian army bases. It was a missile defense unit in the city of Yevpatoria, and again it was a very strange situation. Ukrainian soldiers and officers were officially running the base, but they had no weapons. The Russian soldiers were everywhere, and I remember filming one of those soldiers which had a little name tag on the back of his uniform. It said Corporal Petrov, and I remember coining this phrase, Corporal Petrov, from the country which denies having its troops in Crimea.
On the 16th of March, Crimeans voted to rejoin Russia in a referendum condemned by observers from the West.
Крым и Севастополь возвращаются в родную гавань.
Putin declared Crimea part of Russia 2 days later. It wasn't until April that he eventually admitted that Russian troops were deployed in Crimea.